Okay, Don, we are recording. We are live.
Okay.
What is this beautiful hot rod that we're looking at here?
It's a 1929 Ford Roadster on a 1932 Ford frame. All original stuff, not repop stuff. And we're going to start in the front here. The grill shell is original. And the grill, these bars are all new, okay? There's a guy that sells these bars. And so I replaced every one of those bars, and that's why this grill is so perfect.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because these bars were new, so that's one thing on there. The axle is a 34, drop 34, original old-timey 50s axle. And your standard early Ford spring. And of course the shock absorbers are late model shocks, but the brakes on this car are Lincoln. They're Lincoln Repop by Bowling Brothers.
And that's front and rear?
Yes, all four of them. You'll notice that it's got just a single mount up here, and you have to adjust them at the bottom with the spoon.
Ah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, you take the rubber out.
Yeah, I got a couple old Volkswagens that use that same method with the little star adjuster.
Little star wheel in there.
Yep, a couple clicks this way, a couple clicks that way.
Yep. Yep. And
So she'll stop.
The spindles are 1940. I don't know, steering arm is an aftermarket steering arm that I dropped. He did drop it a little bit, so the pitman arm is in level with I said drag link level with the pitman arm down there. The wishbones are 32, and steering is F1 1950 Ford pickup. The engine is a 1947 Ford. That might be 48. I had a 47 block, but I don't think that was good. So that might be a 48 block. It doesn't matter, same thing. All built by Archie Summers. And it's not a real generator. There's an alternator inside the generator.
Okay.
And ignition, the distributor is a 42 Ford. That's the short one for clearance in here. You got to have the short one. So that's what that is.
Yep, pretty tight squeeze in there.
Yeah, it gets pretty close. The radiator is from Brass Works down in Paso Robles.
And that's a warmed up flathead, Don? It's
Yeah, it's about 130 horse, 85 horse stock, you know.
That's
It's
beautiful.
got dual carbs, dual 97s on it with an offie manifold, and it's your fuel pressure regulator right there.
Okay, yeah.
That runs at about 2.5 pounds of pressure. You see that when it's running, it's about 2.5 pounds, which is right for that.
Beautiful. And this is that traditional look in the engine bay. It's not red. It's not a finned head, polished. You know, there's a lot of different styles that people use when they do a traditional hot rod build.
Right.
Sometimes it's a lot of eyeball with a partial hood. This really reminds me of kind of a high schooler that's on a budget, that's building a car in his folks' garage and or driveway.
The whole theme of this car was to build one like a guy who just got out of the service, Second World War, and on a limited budget.
Yep.
In like 1949.
1949.
You know,
Yep.
You could buy a frame for $5 and a body for $10, and all that. So that was the theme of the car: authentic, early California, you know, hot rod. Now the cowl, I found. It doesn't matter where I found it, but I found this cowl is absolutely mint. It was mint. And it came with the windshield post and the windshield frame. And I've laid the windshield back and all that stuff, but the cowl was just primo deluxe. No rust, nothing like that.
Wow, that's a nice find.
It is. And then I bought the rest of the body from a guy up in Washington. It wasn't so primo, but it's pretty nice now. And the dashboard. Now you want to check the dashboard?
Absolutely.
Dashboard is a 34, and of course it's cool. It's got all new Stewart Warner gauges, and got a glove box and everything, which makes it kind of fun. And the steering wheel is Lineworks, 16-inch 40-foot wheel, a little smaller, you know.
In a finished interior, I know depending on the theme, sometimes you'll see these traditional builds where they have no interior, no carpet, no door panels, and maybe a blanket for a seat cover. And it kind of varies depending on the builder and maybe the budget too. The budget probably has a lot to do with.
Well, guys got into doing it really cheap like that, you know, sort of the kind of rat rod thing. But no, this would be a nice finished Roadster in 1950.
And this is leather, right?
It's leather.
Leather, yeah, real deal.
Real deal.
Real deal.
Now, your master cylinder is underneath the carpet here. You lift the carpet up, and there's an access plate. You get to the master cylinder. If
Okay.
You need to check that from time to time. Transmission is early Ford.
Love that sound.
3-speed, and the top, I made all the top. I made the bows and all the stuff, and then it's solid, so that the top doesn't blow up when you go down the road. So it's
Well thought out.
yeah, and Jim did the top. He did the interior.
Yeah, it looks great. And Don, with the hot rods, you hear a lot about the 32 frame and the chopped and the channeled and the all the different variations of the way the bodies and the frames get mounted. What is this car? A 32 frame
29 body
with a 29 body.
Yeah, it's your standard traditional highboy situation.
Perfect.
And the frame is slightly pinched in this area here because they tend to be a little bit too wide. A little bit pinched in this area to fit the body.
A little pitched.
A little
Okay.
bit pinched, yep.
And that's to accommodate the shape of the 29 body
Yeah.
that gets installed in a 32 frame.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And is the frame reinforced or
Yeah, I want to show you that. I have a thing I'm going to give you and show you where I reinforce
Oh,
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I have a schematic of a 32 frame, and I'll show you. I drew in there with a magic marker what I did, so you'll know when you're under there. You can see it.
And the hot rod for dummies that I kind of pitched that to you, it's actually partially true. Is this a chopped channeled?
No,
Okay, not a chopped and channeled.
it's chopped a little bit. The windshield.
Chopped a little bit.
If I remember right, the windshield's down about 2.5 inches or so. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
It's not channeled because the body's sitting on top of the frame.
Body's on top of the frame. Okay.
Yep.
And if it was channeled, you'd see that frame
No,
rail tucked.
It would be the body would be over the frame.
Okay, and that's a different look,
Oh yeah, that's completely different.
completely different look.
Now you don't want on a 32 frame. You don't want to do that because the frames are like 6 inches tall. If you channel it, you don't have any room inside.
Gotcha.
Okay? So this way you get maximum room inside. Which once you get in there, you'll appreciate. It's
Perfect.
getting in and out. It's a little on the tight side,
And Don, what about the trunk? Can we pop the trunk and kind of,
Sure.
I know you've got a battery cutoff in the trunk.
Battery cutoff's right here.
Okay,
It's off right now. That's on.
okay,
Now
so
you
that
have
left
power.
position's off,
Yeah.
right position's on,
Yeah.
okay.
And aftermarket fuel tank, usual stuff.
Oh, it just looks so clean and just every
Yeah, I didn't.
detail
I
is
didn't
just,
finish it all off with a carpet or anything like that. Because they wouldn't have done that back then,
sticking to the theme.
Huh?
Sticking to that theme of
Yeah,
1949, 1950.
Yeah, I mean, I could have taken it all the way, it had all the upholstery, but what for? You know, I mean, they didn't do it back then. You know, guys did not have a whole lot of money. And the only reason they build a good car is because you buy stuff so cheap.
Sure.
Now the taillights are 39 Ford LEDs, they're LEDs.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And the bumper is, why can I remember that? Not Morris Minor, but the other little car, you could buy it out of Sears Roebuck. It's true. It's true.
Really?
Yeah, they sold them in Sears Roebuck catalogs.
Oh boy.
That's
So I'm picturing kind of a micro car or a mini.
it was a small car. I can never remember the name of it. I'll think of it. Anyway, that's the front bumper off of one.
Oh, okay. It's been re-chromed.
Yeah, it required a lot of work. It was not a good thing, but I mounted that back there and all that. So.
Oh, the body and paint is just beautiful.
Now the passenger cell has been moved 2 inches to the rear. In other words, this part right here used to be 2 inches forward. I shortened up this upper deck panel, moved this back, so you got more room. And
so this originally
this back
was
was
two
2 inches
more
forward.
inches forward.
Yep. Yep.
And by virtue of moving it this way 2 inches, now your seat and your interior cabin space has gotten a little bit more spacious.
Right. That's the passenger cell, and it's got more room now. So when you're in there, it's nice. You got plenty of room.
Yeah, and your knees aren't up against your chest.
Right. Right. I mean, guys back years ago, guys were like 5'6" to 130 pounds. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and they get right in there, but we're not like that anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, tan hearts cloth, nitrocellulose black, urethane on the frame for chip resistant, and
Oh, that reflection in that black is just, I mean, it's a mirror.
that's one reason why I wanted
Just a
nitro.
mirror.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can get urethane to be that good, but it requires a lot more blocking and rubbing and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I love that interior. Even smells good.
Like leather.
Can't go wrong with leather.
No, the interior is real nice. Jimmy did a nice job.
He did a great job. Yeah.
That was $9,500 just for the interior.
Well, it looks like it.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
The wheels they're Ford wheels. The front wheels are 1940 Ford. They're 4.5 inches wide for the smaller tires. The rear wheels are Ford pickup. They are 6 inches wide for the bigger tire. And the rear tires are 700s, fronts are 500s. The Excelsior radials.
And that's what they refer to as the big little combo,
Sure.
right? In the hot rod
Yep.
world,
Gotta have that.
big littles, and that's a big part of that stance where the car has a rake to it. So the back is a little bit perched up compared to the front.
Yeah, it just looks better. That started when these guys were running to dry lakes, They put the bigger tires on the back so you get more speed,
Makes sense.
And then it just evolved into a smaller tire on the front, bigger on the back. And your rocket science. But,
Well, and it looks cool.
it looks good, yeah.
And this whole thing started with looking cool.
That's part of it.
Yeah, and going
I think
fast.
Those early guys really wanted to go fast, but in modifying the car to go fast, they made it look really cool.
Yeah, you kind of get both.
The look, the traditional look was actually established way in the 30s, a long time ago. So,
Oh, what a beautiful build, Don.
thank you.
And what years was this car built by you?
I would say 20, 21, 22, 23 in there.
kind of finished in that 23,
Yeah,
24.
It was probably finished in 23.
Okay.
And then the top was done later. The top was just done about, I don't know, a year ago. So,
And Don, that story you shared with me earlier about the frame, the price of the frame, and the reason why the price of the frame shocked me as an awfully high number. Can you explain that?
yeah, because it came with a title.
And it's a 32 frame that came titled.
Original 32 frame, which are very hard to find, by the way. But they're superior to the repop ones. You know, the steel in there is much better quality than the reproduction frames. That's why they box in the new frames.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not strong. Henry Ford knew what he was doing with the alloys when he made these cars. And so I wanted all the stuff in this car to be real Ford, to be original Ford. I didn't want any repop anything in it. So except for the brakes, which they're Lincoln, they're 40 Lincoln repop. That and I don't know, steering wheel or something. Other than that, it's all real Ford.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they could have bought a Brookville body and all that, but they just don't look the same. They don't
Yeah.
look right, you know. And so you got the real deal. You got the real deal. That's the way it is.
Well, thanks, Don, for sharing. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
And what a beauty here. What a beauty.
No problem. Let me show you the frame thing on the schematic I have. Whatever you need.
Okay, part 2.
Part 2.
The frame
32 frame
that sits underneath that car.
with Model A front cross member and a Model A rear cross member. But the K member is original 32, but it's been narrowed a little bit because they had to pinch the frame rails to follow the 29 body a little bit.
Okay, so that's the pinch that we talked about when we were filming the car.
Pinch.
The pinch.
Yeah.
Okay.
The black part here is what I added to it because these things flex a lot, okay? So these right here, what these are, is a 2x5 3-sided channel, okay? Out of a 47 Ford. And it's got the holes in it for the exhaust to run through and all that stuff. So I used those, then I welded to the back of the K member down into the frame rail, back here. And then I added this heavy 1/4-inch plate up in here, across this area here, just bolted in. That's to keep everything from flexing.
Okay.
That's to minimize the flex, okay? And you'll see, you get under there, you'll see that. So I drew that in for you so you would know what that was all about. But,
So that's how you properly put the right frame that's solid, well thought through.
yeah, old-timey, okay? Now what they do today with the repop frames is they've got all this tubular stuff going on in here, all tubular cross members.
Side to side and this and that.
Set up for Chevrolet motors and stuff like that. If you're gonna run a flathead, you gotta run the K member, the original K member, because the transmission, if you could see the K member, this is like this high with a hole. Transmission goes through there, mounts in here, and sticks out the back and connects to the torque tube. So
Gotcha.
that's an enclosed drivetrain, enclosed with it's a drive shaft inside the torque tube, you know, like old Ford. And I don't know, that's it. And so, like I say, these sections here were about a 2x5 or so, 2x whatever, with the flared holes for the exhaust to run through.
Okay.
And you'll see all that when you get in there.
Gotcha. Neat.
Motor mounts are handmade. I made those up. And I don't know.
There you have it.
That's about the extent of the frame situation. Of course, the frame horns are cut off. The rear frame horns are cut off, right about in here somewhere. And you don't need those. The body only comes to here.
Okay, that's where the body ends.
Yeah, the 32s, they had the gas tank off the back, remember?
Oh,
The
yeah.
gas tank hangs out here, so they had the long horns on and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you trim it to fit.
Yeah, exactly. I left the front. I didn't cut the front frame horns. I left those on there. And like I said, I just did what was typical hot rod build after the war. And that's it. A good street driver, you know. And that's what that was all about. I think it was 2.5, maybe 3, something like that. It doesn't matter. It's all.
Well, it's got a look to it. That's what matters.
Oh, it looks cool.
It's got the look.
Yep, it does.
Everything in the shop, Don, has the look.
It's got the look, man.
Everywhere I film,
cool
I
stuff.
see the look.
And listen, these are for sale for $28.
There we go.
It's a hell of a deal. Mount one on your
Contact
mailbox.
Donn Lowe.
Put one on your mailbox. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.